It's cold out today.
It is.
Who we got? Good morning, Shelby.
Shelby and Peggy.
Good morning, Peggy.
Myself. I have arrived.
Yeah, you want to do this?
I finished the book 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. We're really pushing it.
I was watching a good movie last night, so I didn't finish reading. All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Did we finish the movie last?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Oh, yeah! Okay. Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Jason.
And this is episode 53, where we're going to talk about Fourth Wing chapters 14 through 26. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait. I can't wait until I get back to finish the book. So before we get started, please make sure that this is the video you really mean to be watching. We talk about this portion of the book as if you have also already read it. So we spoil everything. We leave nothing untouched.
We probably leave things untouched.
Oh, yeah, we totally leave. But still, spoilers are everywhere. Yeah. So if you haven't gotten caught up to where we are now, you can go back in the playlist and catch the first week's episode, which is chapters 1 through 13. You can also check out the playlist for all the other books that we've read so far. There have been many.
Yep.
And they've all been so good, except for one. And you can also catch us on YouTube.
Music.
Yeah, we're podcasted there on YouTube Music. And you can catch us on Goodreads, where we take the discussion off of the YouTubes. And that's where we exist.
Yeah. That's funny. We'll talk about your comment. That's good. Also, today we have our window open. So if it becomes too chaotic and the mic is picking up stuff, please let us know and we will close it. But it's nice out, so we kept the window open.
Yeah, we get about 2 weeks of good weather around here, so we are enjoying it.
We're going to take a nice picture and we'll post it later of ourselves. Ta-da.
Oh,
no.
Why?
Oh, no. Don't worry about
it's
it.
there.
I made a mistake.
You did it. Oh, no.
All right. Yeah. Also, this week is the week where we're going to announce our next book. And so immediately after this, we're going to put out a short announcing what our next book is. I think we've narrowed it down to at least 2. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to try to stick with the Halloween theme. Mm-hmm. Something kind of spooky, scary. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun.
Last year, around spooky, scary season, we read Stephen King's Salem's Lot.
Yes, we did.
And so we didn't break that one down into 3. We just all read it and then came back together and talked about it. And I think that's why I kind of forget about that book the most. Mm-hmm. It really does help to talk about it.
Yeah.
Really. Okay, so let's talk about it.
So I'm gonna make a segue right there. I want to tie those 2 books together. And if you have not read Salem's Lot, you can find a playlist on our channel. When we were doing Salem's Lot, I was talking a little bit about how there are like these waves of popular like enemies. So like you can't have as your enemies like the Soviets anymore. You can't have it be just like China generally. We all like while you certainly can, and while for some movies that works, I definitely think there's a problem with portraying living, breathing people as like a natural enemy.
Right.
And so things have definitely leaned towards, we did zombies for a while and we did vampires for a good hot minute. And now it's not necessarily the enemies, but we're on dragons right now. And I really have spent a lot of time while thinking about this book to try to think about like what does the dragon represent, and of course dragons are big because of Game of Thrones right now, and that has been in the works for a long time. But like, what is it about dragons that just like draws us to that thing? And of course, it's just like a giant fire-breathing snake lizard bird thing. But like, what is a dragon? But like on some level, it represents power, and it does represent temptation, and maybe not lust per se, but we think about like one of the early dragons in fantasy, and
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Smaug from Lord of the Rings was probably one of the earliest dragons, right? And he lusted for gold, right? He had mountains and mountains of gold. There is also in Beowulf, which was not necessarily, it's not fantasy, right? That's something different, but Grendel's mother was a dragon. And again, she represented sort of this like greed and like a certain amount of like sexual energy. And so I'm just
that here.
Yeah, I'm just pointing that out as like, right now we're on dragons, and what is it about dragons that speaks to us? Because I think the vampire thing spoke to us about there's something about blood sucking. There's something about like the elite and taking literal life out of people. And the vampire thing really hit around like Occupy Wall Street and things like that. And what is it that's happening today that makes dragons really the thing? I'm not saying there has to be something, but I think there is.
Maybe we're all feeling a little repressed.
Maybe we're all feeling a little repressed.
Just saying. Don't dragons in Eastern cultures represent good fortune, power, good and bad?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, and so maybe that's it. You know, I don't know.
I really was fond of Puff the Magic Dragon as a child.
Yeah.
And his little song.
The first
Do you
comment.
remember Pete's Dragon?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, anyways, first comment, sorry.
Peggy said Zayden and Violet definitely left things untouched.
Okay, so what's the spice level here?
So we have a vote. Shelby says spice level 12.
Oh!
Look, it was spicy.
That was spicy.
That scene was spicy. And you know what happened? Nothing. And I'm not a romance reader. This book has been...
I think you are.
I think I am. This book has been described to me as the genre romantasy, which I had never heard of, but like it's romance fantasy. And I mean, like, man, they really turned up the heat right there, and nothing happened. As somebody who criticized the writing in the first week, I would like to apologize publicly. In the second, but because I mean that was impressive.
Yeah,
it was impressive.
She needs to make her some edibles if they really got to like hang on to their boundaries. You know, he's out there smoking his
weed,
his chew or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Churum. She needs to make a little churum brownies, something, gummies. I don't know.
But so anyway, probably that tension between in the first part of the book, obviously there was the tension of I need to be alive. And then really what we're doing now is moving into more of like a thriving thing. But this reading was much more focused on the relationship between Zayden and Violet. And I want to point this out because I don't think I quite understood this last week. Because they talk about this Tirish rebellion and how their parents got killed and they got their marks and all that stuff. And her brother died. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's sad. But like these kids have gotten over it. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they were like 6 years old. No, Violet is 18 right now.
Right.
Meaning that when this happened, she was 13. So when this happened to Zayden...
He was 11.
He was 16.
Oh, he was 16? Okay.
Because if she's 15...
Oh, that's right.
Right? I mean, like, just do the subtraction.
My bad.
You kill my family when I'm 16, and it's never over.
So, yeah, that's kind of a tough thing. Like... I don't think that you should be punishing children, you know, for what their parents do.
Yeah.
But they have that fear too that like these children were not small.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them,
Sure.
you know. And I think they said Zayden's the oldest, right?
Yeah, he is, and the youngest one is currently 6, meaning that the youngest when this happened was 1.
Yeah.
And the math might be a little messed up there because they reference the fact that she was born with the relic.
Oh yeah.
And so what must have happened was father was a rebel. She gets marked like in utero and then comes out that way.
Yeah.
I agree. Like obviously that is too young. That makes no sense to me. But like a 16 to like 13-year-old, I understand.
You still
like
see him as a threat.
Well, I understand the complications.
Yeah.
And number one, like maybe you don't watch them murder your parents or whatever. Maybe don't mark them for life. But also, like, what do you do with them?
Right.
You know, you have all these like parentless kids running around, and that does become complicated. So.
What do you think about Liam? He's a new addition in this section.
He's the
bodyguard.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
he's cool. There was the scene when Taryn first starts like taking over her emotions, and you're like, oh, this is gonna happen, and
oh yeah, I thought it was gonna happen.
He's cool.
Just wait till Riddick is in the right place at the right time.
You know, I'll say this: there has been almost nothing that we have seen so far that would imply to us that these relic kids, they're all being real mature about this whole thing. You know, and Liam's like, you know what? I don't like you, and I don't like your family, but like. I owe him a life debt, and so here I am, right? And he's kind of the Jar Jar Binks of this story. Right? Not really. I'm just kidding.
What do you think? Are we going to learn what Zayden did that Liam feels so beholden to him?
Maybe.
To?
There's also something that Zayden did.
Yeah, he mentioned it to the general.
I wonder if he didn't like turn his... You know, like his father was executed later, like at his house or something. I think we're gonna find out that Xaden turned in somebody. I think, but that's just a guess.
Man, oh, how horrible!
Yeah.
Just kids are often used as a very powerful tool in rebellions and civil wars and stuff like that. They're so easy to manipulate and to have them do your bidding and to turn people in and all that stuff. This is a real messed up system, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, and so then there at the end of the reading, and I know because I just finished it 10 minutes ago. One of the letters that Sorengale has is that the Tirish province, whatever it's called, is like maybe gearing up for another rebellion. And so there's this comment in our first reading about how dragons only pick like they're impeachably honorable. So of course they pick only honorable people who would defend the country. Well, what happens now when you have these dragon riders who are also Tirish, right? And so their homeland is rebelling against the country. There's like what do you pick, you know?
But if this is all really up to the dragons, why are we, clearly the dragons are going to pick the right people.
Right. But whenever the people go to war against each other, who do the dragons have to pick? Do you pick like if Louisiana went to war against America, like who do I pick? I'm probably not picking here. Not if we're by ourselves, But this is a real problem, and this happened during the Civil War. There were people who were loyal to the United States. They were like really were, but then their state leaves and they're like, well, I guess I'm going.
Yeah.
And they didn't fight for a good cause, but they had to pick between like home or country, and those things were different to them. And Robert E. Lee is the most famous example of that. Like he wasn't necessarily trying to like fight for the cause or something. He just went with his home because that's what he was, and I definitely think that we could see something like that boiling up here.
Lots of conflict to come in book 2.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna go ahead and say it, unless part 3 of our reading just really goes down the toilet.
Yeah.
I'm here for the next book.
Yeah, we've been talking to several people, and I think we're all on board for reading the second book once it comes out, which I think is a couple weeks after we should be finishing. And so maybe we'll put in this Halloween book, and then maybe another book or two, and then
See, I'll put it on hold at the library already.
we'll figure it out.
Get your pre-order on.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I had my next point I wanted to make.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Not my bad.
It's okay. I don't know. It's gone. It's gone. Is this the reading where they incinerate the wing leader?
Oh,
that was this
Amber?
one, right? Yeah. That was this one.
I have a note. We need to talk about that.
Okay, let's
Why
talk about
did Amber let those killas into her room? Oh, because she's mad that she cheated on the wipeout thingy.
Yeah, she's one of these like unimpeachably honorable people, much like Dane. That's what I want to talk about.
But if she's unimpeachably honorable and cares so much about the rules,
that's
she
the point.
Broke a rule to do that.
Right. Well, but and then we see the same thing with Dane in the same situation, where she accuses, or Amber is accused by Xaden for Violet, and Dane says, "Well, you can't question a wing leader." And in making that statement about Amber, he questions his own wing leader, Xaden. And so again, we have this like confliction of like, what do you do when the rules conflict? What do you do when they say things against each other? And maybe Amber felt like, well, you're not a real dragon rider, so the rules don't apply to you. There's all sorts of people who decide that the rules can justify or they don't apply. And in their heads, they're still the good person, right? In their heads, they're still the law-abiding person, and you are not. You broke it first. So whatever means necessary. And, and that was sad because she and Dane like had a thing before we ever even show up, And of course, because they're perfect for each other. But, I mean, that was a fantastic scene. When I read, okay.
Every chapter has had something where I'm like, woo, like I gotta get to the end of this. I gotta see what happens next. That was intense. And, a pivotal part or pivotal moment in Dane and Vi's relationship as well. When he goes to read her thoughts, and she puts that wall up, that broke something in their relationship for sure.
Well, and she specifically says many chapters later, you didn't consent, or I did not consent, and you didn't ask. And he's like, I didn't ask. He's like, yeah, you didn't, and he just like assumed it, you know. I really don't like him, but I'm gonna stick with my criticism from last week about the Nietzsche thing, and he must be the thing that she overcomes, you know. We'll see him die soon.
You think so?
He has to die so that she can become the next thing. He's gonna die.
I mean, I think he's kind of already dead. She's
Yeah, but-
already overcome him.
Yeah,
you know?
but she, yes, but she has to like now deal with like the grief and the guilt of not being, of how much she has changed, right? Like there's gonna have to be that drama. So
yeah.
But you know, he's doing what he thinks he can to protect her, and she makes a really great point whenever, you know, he's always trying to protect her. He's always like, I don't know, you could die, you could die. She's like, I got 2 dragons, right? Like I've made it this far. At what point do you decide that I don't need your protection? And everybody wants somebody to like watch their back or whatever, but like that's not what he's doing,
right?
You know? So
yeah. And it's time for Vi to get over the mistrust of Xaden. No matter what his intentions are, whether he's protecting her to protect himself or he protecting her because he needs to protect her, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's going to protect her so he doesn't also die.
Yeah.
So just lean into that. It's time for them to trust that. Go ahead and just acknowledge we have this bond. We are going to be together for the rest of our lives. Let's find some things we have in common and enjoy each other's company.
right. Well,
you know?
she just now found out that like the longest they can be away from each other is
3 days. So, like, just go ahead. Just
Time to make a peace.
lean into it.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
this is where you are. Y'all are bound for life.
Yeah. Well, and frankly, Xaden has never done anything to not earn her trust.
Yeah.
He never has.
How
and
cool
none
are
of the
those
marked ones ever
daggers?
have. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, none of the marked ones have.
Ever done anything to.
One was a little aggressive at the beginning, but as soon as Xaden...
You can be aggressive. That's fine.
I mean, that's just kind of what they do.
Yeah. It was a bunch of unmarked people that slipped into her house and tried to like kill her in her sleep.
Yeah.
Right? It's a bunch of unmarked people that marked people in the first place. You know,
Right.
it's all these unmarked people. They're the problem.
But how cool were the daggers that he had
they're
made
really
for
cool.
her? That was super cool.
Yeah.
And again, is it a greedy or is it in his own self-interest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the better her weapons and the more suited for her body,
Yeah.
the more likely of both of their survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so, you know, at the end of last week's talk, we were like, okay, so what dragon is she going to bond with? What's her power going to be? You know, all this stuff. Okay, she ended up bonding with 2 dragons. She ended up with the Wombo combo, getting Xaden and Sigil on top of that. I mean, she essentially has.
Yeah. She's a small army.
Yeah. Like, that's pretty amazing, you know?
Well, and I think that's the point, right? Like, that's where we're going. And that's why I think this Tierce Rebellion thing is going to go somewhere. It's not just because, like, oh, they're going to rehash it. And they're giving us hints about all kinds of things, right? These wards going down. I still think there's going to be something going on with this fairy tale book that we're missing.
Yeah.
But you know, she and Xaden can't go against each other. And so somehow they are going to create this new... They're going to create a new order.
They are both the general's children of this this thing that happened freshly 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've already seen what you mentioned last week. Like, it's going to be important that she is not a killer.
Yeah.
And we've already seen that when they did their last little challenge and they blew past that guard to go get the map and someone went to attack the guard and she's like, don't hurt him, you know, just...
Well, and she had another chance to kill Jack Barlow and didn't do it. Yeah.
And so, you know, she's the vision of only go as far as you need to go to put the person in check, to end it, you know. And that's going to be a big change for the country.
Yeah. Appropriate force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be cool. And we do see a systemic issue here. I think it was in the Book of Brennan, at the beginning of one of the chapters. He said that you know, the instructors and the commanders they're all just like, yeah, this is great, you know, we're looking to see who's going to be the best and we're excited about it. But he mentioned something about them they're salivating to see who will fail. there's a cruelty
Yeah.
in this school,
Yeah.
which the people in this school will become the next commanders. So they're just perpetuating this cruelty. All the the dragons are going to burn out who they're going to burn out. I get that. The humans are so insignificant in all of this, and they're trying to vie for power.
Yeah.
They're adding this extra layer of cruelty to the school that doesn't need to be there, allowing them to kill each other off. Get out of town. You don't need to do all that.
Yeah. Well, that's like with like real politicians. You look at them and you're like, what are you doing? Like you are kind of an insane person, and you
Yeah.
are trying too hard, and your hyperbole is off the charts and all that stuff. But it's because that particular job does not attract kind, quiet people who are measured, right? Because the system spits them up, chews them up and spits them out. And the same is true here. You don't get to be a writer by like not taking risks because you never would have crossed the parapet in the first place. And so like it makes sense. Like they are, and part of them, they made this comment like they're breeding people for being better writers, and that might be true if people were only having sex after being successful writers, but they're not. They're doing it before, which means that all the bad writers and genetics are mixed in there with the good writers. So what you are breeding for is psychopaths.
Yeah.
That's what you're breeding for, and it's just crazy.
Speaking of psychopaths, why hasn't Taryn fried Jack yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make a somebody said in the chat, and we'll catch up with these in a minute as best we can, but that they felt bad for Amber's dragon. And we have to remember that like Amber's dragon must have known what was going on, and in some way is complicit in this. And in some way it decided that this was like the appropriate thing to do. Or it could have stopped her. It could have told Taryn, like, I don't know what the dragon rules are, but there were options. And they make it sound like the dragon was in pain whenever she dies. It's not explicitly said. But it is said that like he tried to like bow up a little bit, and then Taryn got involved, and he was like, no, okay, I'm not doing that, but that dragon picked a bad rider, and so I don't know what that says about that dragon. I don't know if it will bond somebody again. It might be fun for that dragon to come back in like the third book, bonded to somebody new who then goes after Violet again.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think that would happen, but
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to like follow what happens with this like semi-disgraced dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm just thinking about that. What about Andara and her little power?
Which one's
Andarna, the
Andarna?
dragon.
Oh, Adarna.
And yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry. What's her name?
I think it's Adarna.
Okay.
I don't think there's an extra N. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's awesome. Time manipulation is cool. Physically, it doesn't work very well, right? There's no way that this works. And they take a physics class. I want to point that out. They're taking physics. Interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic power.
Best way to learn how to stay on a dragon? Take physics.
I guess.
It's true.
I mean, but like, this whole planet is so weird. Right? They have like crossbows and physics, and that's fine. You can do that. But like, how much physics y'all really know, right? Like, if you haven't figured out like some other fun stuff yet. But and like, do you really need physics when you have magic? Like, do you really? But especially when you can stop time and then keep moving around. She did not take advantage of it very well. She like got out of a headlock, but then like didn't slit anybody's throats. But you can do a lot in like 6 seconds, and maybe we'll see that again. And she felt bad that the little dragon had to like sleep for a week or whatever. But like, train that dragon, work on it, because whenever it's big, that'll be handy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Although we don't know what's going to happen when the dragon grows up.
Yeah.
That power might be gone. And I hope the little dragon doesn't die to use that power.
Yeah.
I like the little dragon. She's cute.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting that whenever they stole the map, they didn't use that power. I kind of expected for that to be the reveal, because she hasn't told anyone yet, except for like Xaden, I guess, about the power. And instead of like force pushing the guy into a wall or whatever, they could have like slowed time, and she might could have like figured out that she can let her team move or something, and then escape.
I'm glad that she's kept it quiet.
Yeah, but it's got to come out sometime, and that was a good time for it to come out. Okay.
It should never come out.
Fair enough.
Don't put that dragon at risk. Let's see.
Shelby wants a t-shirt. It says crossbows in physics. Rider's quadrant. Hashtag Basquiat. That's fine. I do enjoy that. Yeah. So, oh man, I've forgotten it again. I'm sorry. I keep coming up with things I want to say, and then I lose them. But that's okay. It's okay.
I really like that Ree got to go and see her family.
Yeah.
Thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
But I am just biting my nails while reading that chapter because something bad has to happen because they're breaking the rules.
I'll bet good money that they die in this next chapter. They're in a border town. They're relatively high altitude. There's gonna be like a griffin attack. It's gonna be their first time meeting griffins. Raya's family's gonna die. There's stakes involved. Zayden has shown up now, right? So like now they get to be in combat together, with Mira. They're building up this team for questioning like what's really going on with like the intelligence. And I guess we haven't really talked about that yet.
Right? Yeah, we are getting some information about.
I mean, something's going on, and we're getting too many like little strings pointing at different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know if it has anything to do with the Barons, like in this children's book, or if it's just the other country, or maybe the dragons are old and tired. I don't know. But
yeah, I'm not understanding any of the pieces they're giving us. I don't understand what's going on with the wards, or why the wards are breaking, or I don't know.
I think if I had to like just guess, what I'd say is that there will be this Tyr's rebellion, but then the Baron monsters, whatever this thing is, right, will come back, and our country will have to like heal itself to fight against this external threat, and maybe even this other country with the Griffins that they're fighting against. Maybe that war is also popping off, and then they will have to heal to fight against the other threat, and it'll be about like a coming together through war sort of story, and that's kind of my guess right now.
Yikes!
I mean, it's very common. These things do happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Any other new characters?
Shelby mentions that nobody won the bet of which chapter does Jack die. We have more chapters.
Yeah, yeah. Keep the bets rolling.
I bet he doesn't die.
Yeah. What a turd running. Ugh. I mean, just.
Yeah.
His attack on the little dragon, just disgusting. Trying to kill someone in their sleep, disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, just the whole situation.
They've done a really good job of making him, like, unlikable.
Just how worthless. I love that she almost killed him with those oranges, or that orange zest or whatever. Like,
yeah, but like I think we'll have a redemption arc at some point. But they're making him incredibly unlikable, and somehow he will be redeemed.
And if his whole point is like he's wanting to kill off the weak link, how has she not already proven that she's not a weak link?
Yeah.
So let it go. It's over.
Yeah. There's also this thing about like sometimes a rider will kill another rider so they can get that rider's dragon.
You think that dragon's gonna pick this little
turd? But like in their culture, they like, well, you bested the one I picked, so you must be better, right? Like I kind of understand how like the dragon might be thinking, but also I think about like, well, how does your current dragon think? And be like, well, am I not good enough? What about me?
Right?
What's going on there?
Wouldn't that dragon just be like, oh, you don't want me?
I mean, I don't know. The whole thing seems dicey. So
stupid.
Yeah.
What dragon picked him?
Yeah, I don't know. So
I'm ready for him to go.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most ready for is the Venom, right? The Barons
Wyvern
people.
and the Venom.
I want to see all that stuff.
I don't understand what the Venom are.
I don't either. In my mind, they're rat people.
Ew.
I don't think that's what they are.
I don't want that.
if y'all caught what the actual description was, let us know. I'm not sure that there is.
There's not one, and I like looked it up, and it just says that it's French for venom.
No. Yeah. Rats.
Ugh.
I just because that book has been reintroduced, that's why I think that we're going to progress now into the next thing. Part of me also suspects that like this treat of being able to go to the front lines is not real, And I think what's happened is somehow, with all this like classified intelligence that they have, they know that there's going to be an attack here, and they can't spare dragons from elsewhere. And so they did this contest to cover for the fact that they're sending reinforcements to the place that's going to get hit. And so I think there's going to be an attack in the next chapter.
What
or
if
two.
they aren't there during the attack because they're over at Ree's house still? Like, what if the place is attacked while they're gone?
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's bad. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Right, and maybe they fly in 5 minutes late, but they're going to get in trouble. They're going to save everybody and get in trouble, something like that.
Or they didn't save everyone, and they're left behind, and, you know, she had the dragon that could have saved everyone.
Well, you get your story straight, and you lie about where you were.
How terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's what's happening. I think the leadership knows so much more than what they're saying. And it doesn't surprise me that you wouldn't share your intelligence with, like, school kids. Right, I'm on board.
Yeah.
But Mira does not seem to have any hint about what's really going on either.
But it's like she said, you know, if you're a medic, you're not worried about other patients, you're worried about your own. You know, and you, in the military, you know your piece of the puzzle. You don't know everyone else's piece.
That's what I was going to say. Whenever they started this challenge where they steal stuff, somebody makes the comment, and I don't remember who, but it's not Dane, where whenever they don't have their leaders, and they're like, well, then what's the point of a squad leader? And somebody says the point of a squad leader is to make sure that the squad can function when he's not there. I love it. That's perfect. That is exactly what a leader should be.
Yeah. Very true.
Big fan of that line.
And, you know, when you look at, like, Dane versus Xaden, Xaden is the kind of leader that would make sure his people know how to function if he's dead.
Gotcha.
And Dane might not.
Yeah. He's one of those, like, jealous types that, like, keeps it to himself a little bit. So, look, Peggy clarified for us. She says, okay, the Venom are riders who took magic directly from the source, and they weren't supposed to take it. So it's not being, like, filtered through the dragons. Yeah.
And they mentioned something about, like, how horrible must the creatures be that they took magic from like that, like because they couldn't get dragons, they were just desperate or something like that.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
I need to reread that.
I can probably find like the wiki on it and hopefully not ruin anything.
Yeah, careful.
Well, we'll finish the book. The second one's not out yet, and then we can read the wiki.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but yeah, so like I can't remember what there's a book or a game or something where they have these like husks and they are people, but they're just like hollowed out because of like the power they've had. And that's kind of how I imagine these. They've just been, you know,
they've
been
like
absolutely blasted.
You give your soul up for that kind of magic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fun.
So we're gonna see some like gross stuff.
I'm ready for it.
I wonder if we'll see it now or if we have to wait till the next book.
We'll get a little taste.
You think
This lady knows what she's doing. She's gonna give you a taste.
She's got other books out too that aren't necessarily fantasy.
Yeah. This is not her first book. It's like her sixth or something. Yeah. So cool. Oh yeah. So the Venom and the Wyverns are related. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe they take power somehow from the Wyverns, but like the Wyverns are polluted. I don't know.
Interesting.
It makes me think of Wheel of Time, where they have Sadar and Saden, I think is what. I don't remember. I'm getting it backwards, but like the female half is untainted, but the male half is tainted. Both is power. But the male half makes you crazy. So. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. Like, really enjoying it. I understand why it's
a popular book. Yeah. Well, because it's very entertaining.
It's really entertaining.
There's definitely some deeper things going on that we'll, I think, get to. But I just enjoy the drama of it. Like I am enjoying every moment of the nonsense.
I'm even enjoying like there's like the tense relations. It is a little jarring because you'll be doing something and then she'll be like, and then I saw Xaden shirtless, and you're like, hang on, there's a knife at your throat.
Yeah, come on.
Let's focus,
kid. Reel it
in.
And
but real people are like that. Real people get distracted. You know, I think the descriptions of Xaden are very funny.
Yeah.
Because I understand that Violet is very attracted to him, and I understand that people who read this book are also attracted to him. But if you met that guy in real life, you probably wouldn't be. In real life, people are never attracted to people like that. They're just like, oh, that's a big dude, and that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how people really react.
Funny. So. I do kind of feel bad for Xaden. Like, he's trying to tell her, like, we have to have this boundary.
Yeah.
You know, and he's saying no, and she's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, but do you wanna?
Yeah, she's
Okay,
egging
come
him
on. If it
on.
were reversed, we'd be like, you scumbag, leave her alone.
No, that's actually really interesting.
She
There's
kind
a
of
double
needs,
standard
she
there.
needs to back off.
Yeah.
And she needs to do something. Get with Riddick. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, get this out of your system and leave him alone so y'all can have a strong foundation, a strong relationship, a good friendship.
Yeah, that is really interesting. If this book was written otherwise, there would be some complaints on the internet, right? About and there might be some. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I mean, and it's all part of the like the
Yes.
friction and the it's just all part of it. And we might come to find out that like her unreasonable lust for him is because of this bond and that she can't control it all.
Well,
yet.
definitely is partially, but she was doing this
before the
whatever, and like he's right. Like the reason you're doing this right now,
right,
is because of the dragons.
And he does make it clear that he didn't want to get with her then because she was under that influence.
That was a good guy move.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah,
it really was. But she needs to reel it in. She needs to get that under control and make sure that if they do end up getting together, that it's consensual in all directions.
Yeah. Well, but then she's like, "Oh, I'm just like this because of my dragon." And like, no, you're not like this. You are already like this.
Yeah.
Like, don't use this as an excuse.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be like, "Oh, it's my dragon the whole time." No.
Yeah.
You're like this.
Okay, so we still don't know what power she's going to wield.
Yeah, that's
correct?
True.
So what do y'all think?
There was a scene where, oh man, I have a feeling it was like a fight with Jack Barlow. I'm not sure, but something about like her hand was crackling with energy. It was maybe like after, it was sometime after obviously Taryn channels into her.
Mm-hmm.
But because Xaden has shadow magic, she's gonna have light magic.
You think so?
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, the time magic is really interesting. I don't think I saw that one coming.
Mm-hmm.
And
but light and time can be very related.
That's true. Physics.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a little E equals MC square situation.
Yeah. Shelby says if she was able to fly or levitate, then it'd help her stay on Taryn, and that's true. She's still falling off, right? Like 8-9 months. I mean, like, he's a big boy. I get it, but like, y'all haven't figured out like a system for this yet. Like, this is crazy.
Well, and I feel like he's just making it harder and harder for her to stay on. So she probably is getting better at staying on, and he's just upping the game so that they can be as agile and aggressive as they want to be out when they're actually in battle.
Yeah. When the movie comes out, because there will be one, there will be a montage of her just there will be.
And just hearing about all the other riders that fall off and their dragon just lets them fall.
Because that's like the thing that they were like, oh, well, you can't hang.
Yeah.
I picked wrong.
And so every time it mentions that she fell and she fell and she fell, I'd take a moment to appreciate, like, Taryn is really committed to keeping her.
Well, and that it does in some way change the way the other dragons see him. And he's too big. They don't get to say what he gets to do.
Right.
But the other dragons, their honor or whatever, will not let them do this. But he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He gets to break the rules.
I'm sure they're all talking bad about him behind his back.
Mm-hmm. So that is interesting. Like, we've got the children of the generals, in Xaden and Vi. We've got Sigel and Taryn and Adarna.
Yeah.
Breaking rule. Like, all of them together are just creating this very strong force for change.
Yeah.
Like, something's got to change.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the last reading, so something's got to happen,
Oh, I'm going to be so sad when this book is over.
Yeah. Well, we'll get another one.
Really like.
And then there will be a movie. Like, there's no way. Probably the only reason we haven't heard about a movie already is because of like the writer's strike or whatever. Hey, let's play a game. Who do you want to play the main characters?
Yeah, who's gonna be Xaden? Who's gonna be Vi?
So here's what we're gonna do, because not everybody can read the live stream. After it takes some time to think about it. Who do you want to be Violet? Who do you want to be Xaden? who do you want to be Jack Barlow? Those are the 3 we're playing. Leave them in the comments of the video.
Yeah.
So that other people can play along whenever they come along afterwards.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Let's do that.
Do you have a pick or do you want to wait and put it in the comments?
I want Vin Diesel. No, just kidding. Yeah.
To be.
Yeah. We're doing a Halloween. To be Zayden. We're doing
a little old for it, but sure.
I don't care.
Yeah.
We're doing a Halloween party, and we were talking about being Zayden and Violet, but I don't think Zayden's bald. But in my head, he's bald.
Yeah. You're making yourself the hero.
And all strong people are bald people.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's the thing. So, but yeah. So we'll play. Everybody pick. So again, it's Violet, Zayden, and Jack Barlow. Who do you want to play? Yeah. You can pick any actors you want. And they don't necessarily have to look like them. Maybe they look like them in your head or whatever.
Just whoever you want it to
be. Because
be.
I don't know what anybody's physical description is, I'll be honest. I have no idea.
I create my own.
Yeah. I read it and gloss over it because I just don't care. So.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That'll be fun. All right, cool.
Yeah, play along in the comments.
Yeah. I'll comment as well.
Okay, cool.
You'll comment too.
I got to think about it. I don't know really any actors.
Just start Googling.
Yes. Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, cool. Well, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, that's everything. The only thing I have left to say is I'm ready to go read.
Yeah. I've got things to do today, and then I'm going to come back, and she'll be done. So that'll be a good time.
I can't wait.
That's okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Check in on our shorts that will be out in a few minutes where we will announce the next book. And happy reading. Think about who you want to play your main characters. And y'all have a good week.
Yeah, happy reading, guys.
See y'all next time.
Bye. Let's go read. I gotta go.